You guys might recognize this property behind me. We are here in Carlsbad, California at the Aviara Golf Club, and we're gonna show you this amazing property, and we're going to meet up with local teaching legend, top 100 teacher, Kip Puterbaugh, and later on in the show, Kip is gonna give me some instruction to help my game. So let's go head on down and meet Kip. So Kip, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. We're excited to be here, and you've made quite a nice home for yourself here.
Yeah, it's been a long journey. We've been here 31 years.
Oh my gosh.
Our first office was that over there. We had to lug up 2 televisions and all the VCRs, and that we brought that up every day to do the filming. And as time marched on, we got the building in the back and got our hitting bays. And so it's been a nice little journey, but we've had a good run. I've got a great staff with me.
And it's become quite a family affair, would you say?
Yes.
You have some sons involved?
I do. 2 of them are involved. They both played Division I college, and they had no intention to get into the golf instruction business, but things happened in the businesses they started, and then they ended up being teachers, and they love it, and they're very good at it. But they've been around it since they've been growing up here.
Yeah.
They got to watch tour pros go through here, and they got to go to the U.S. Opens and watch U.S. Opens and walk down the gallery lines with the pros inside the ropes. And so they got a hunger for the game, and now they got a hunger for teaching it.
That's really cool. And you have quite a nice facility here behind us. Why don't we go head on inside and check it out? You can show me all the fun things you have in there.
You got it. Let's go.
Okay.
So these are our 2 hitting bays here, which we'll come back to in a minute.
Okay.
And we're going into the TaylorMade fitting center. We're one of the
Oh, this is really nice.
fitting centers that TaylorMade has. We're like one of 6 that we have the arrangement with them. And in here we have the gear system, and we have the foresight system. Every club obviously that TaylorMade has for sale, plus all the fitting equipment. So it's been a very good situation for club fitting.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Very nice. So just fittings take place in here, no training or anything like that?
Occasionally we'll have a good player that wants to see what happens on the gears.
Right.
And sometimes it's a good match, and sometimes it's almost too much information, because the swing catalyst that we have outside plus the foresight we have outside covers pretty much everything that you need to do in teaching. But some people want the geek all the way. Yeah. So the geek all the way is in the gears.
So you've been teaching now for a very long time. What is your teaching philosophy? I'm newer to the game, so I always love talking to coaches like you who have done this for a very long time, and I love to get those insights.
Right. I think my teaching formula, if there is a formula, came from watching what the great players do. And if you can find out what they all have in common, there's a lot of things they all do in common. And a lot of players don't know what those things are. And I think just from extensive observation, you start seeing things, piece by piece, somewhat like I try to say the golf swing's like a house. You got to start with the foundation. If you don't have a good grip, stance, or posture, you're wasting your time getting lessons.
Yeah.
So you got to get the grip, stance, and posture right, and then you got to get a backswing. So let's say that's your walls, and then you got to understand the sequencing of motion, and that may be your roof, and then you say you got to get the plumbing electricity, and that's getting through the ball. Yeah. So it's kind of like you have to build it. And when I'm analyzing a student, I look at what I think is the main thing they're going to have to do to get better. And if it's grip, stance, and posture, that's where we start. If I see that they're not making a good enough backswing to even accomplish a downswing, I'll go with the backswing. So it's basically just watch what the best players do, try to figure out what's going to work best for that student. And I would say the last principle I have that is, I think, something that's necessary is that the golf swing is called a swing.
Yeah.
What is a swing? Well, if you look up the dictionary, it's something moving in a free and unrestricted arc around a center of motion. Free and unrestricted. Most of the players are manipulating and directing the club. They're not swinging it. And no matter what philosophy you have, if you don't get the club swinging, you're never going to get anywhere. And it's hard for people to trust the swing. Ben Hogan said the golf ball goes straight accidentally. And that's what he means. You have to swing it with freedom, and it'll get square if you have a good grip and path.
All right, Kip, you ready to go help me work on my house?
Yeah,
okay,
let's
I'm
go.
gonna let you decide what needs help. So guys, later on in the show, come on back and we're gonna get some instruction with Kip.
Now let's rejoin our host, Alyssa Kesar, as she gets a lesson with top 100 teacher Kip Puterbaugh inside the Aviara Performance Academy.
What's kind of the process, especially for like a first session?
Well, the first session, we end up deciding what is the most important thing for you to do. I think you could get more power.
Yeah.
So how would you get more power? You got to learn to use your body better, and you got to learn to sequence this club better. If you ever get a sequence to it, you're going to kill it because you hit it pretty far with what you're doing, which is mostly arm-driven power. There's some ways I could get you to move the club with more speed. That's one of our objectives. If we go through the golf swing, there's a sequence of motion, and generally speaking, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the backswing sequence to where the lower body can initiate the downswing and the upper body will follow, and the club is the last to move, okay? So you have as if you're throwing a ball or doing anything athletically, if I'm gonna throw a ball, my arm is still going back as I'm moving forward.
Right.
So I've got the sequence is my lower body starts to go, then my upper body starts to go, and then my arm starts to trail so I can throw with maximum power going this way. Unfortunately, for most amateur golfers, they do just the opposite. They go back with the arm going here, and then they stay with it, and the arm goes down. So their arms go down first, and the body is following the arms. Just for the fun of it, I'm going to have you take the club, I'm going to have you move it there, and I want you to swing back and swing through without stopping. So you start there, swing the club back, and go through. Go. Then let yourself go with more energy. There you go. So you're going to try to sense wherever you set the club, put your grip on there for me, that's where you want the maximum speed. Butch Harmon's dad said that Hogan and him would practice on trying to make all the speed from the ball to the finish. Most people look at the ball and they think the speed's done at the ball.
Yeah.
We're trying to create the speed past the ball. So when we go here, that's where you want the speed. Swing it back and swing it through. Swing.
All the way through?
All the way through, yes. Okay, come here for a second. We could work a little bit on a better turn back. Your right hip is kind of moving a little laterally, which is not advantageous, okay? And then you start down with your hands and arms. So you've got a casting motion, which is very normal. Yeah. Now, I'm just going to show you real quick what you did with that drill.
Okay.
When you had the club forward and you swung it back, your hip turned. It's a natural response because you're trying to swing something before you're taking. So when you swung it back, now what starts your downswing?
The
lower body. Yeah. So now when you're going through, there's no cast, and the energy has gone all the way out through the ball, so the cast has gone away. Everything you did there is tour player quality. It's in there, but you're afraid to bring it out. Yeah. Okay, so we need to bring the freedom of motion that you just did there and have you trust that with the ball.
Okay.
And once you can gain that trust, the ball is going to jump and it's going to be way more straight because as the shots we saw, some went right, some went thin, went fat. So we end up trying to adjust everything, trying to make it change. What we do is we got to stop adjusting and learn to swing. Let it go.
Okay.
I'm going to go get the apparatus that we use and let you see what that feels like, and then we'll go try to do it again with a real club afterwards, okay?
Let's do it.
Okay. So this is a Mach 3 training device. You're going to hold like a baseball bat. You don't have to hold like a grip, so it's kept pretty heavy, but just 10-finger it. So we're going to do the same drill. You're going to swing it forward and swing it back, and I want you to really feel like your speed is going that way with that heavy device.
Okay.
Try not to hit the ground with the device, so we're trying to swing it just a little bit above the ground so it doesn't hit the ground.
Okay.
Okay.
So start here.
Yep. Swing it back and swing it through.
Ooh.
Good. Can you feel that stretching you out?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay, do it one more time. There. What'd you feel your hips do?
They
really snapped.
Yeah, they
You
really
weren't trying to do it, were you?
No.
That wasn't something your brain said to snap your hips.
No.
You did it athletically, swinging something very heavy.
Yeah.
And you're making yourself move
Yeah.
without thinking of somebody telling you what to do. Now take your 9-iron and do the same drill again. I want you to feel that you're doing the same thing with the hips that you just did, okay?
Okay, so not hit the ball.
Not hit the ball.
Yeah.
Okay, now what I do is I'll take them over here and I'll show them what that looked like. Okay, so if I was to ask you, did that swing feel like you almost were out of control?
Yeah.
That's what most people think, is when they make a club with that much energy and their body moving, they think it looks out of control. But if you look at it in the video, it doesn't look out of control.
Not at all?
It actually looks quite good.
So then when I add the ball in, am I still doing the same thing? So
well, what
forward.
you do is you do the backswing, you do the drill, and then you get up the ball. You try to feel like the backswing is not going to go forward and back. So sometimes I'll have them just take one practice swing over the top of the ball, and then I'll say, now set the club down and try to do the same thing.
Perfect. I can do that. Well, thank you so much for this. This is going to definitely help me, and we've enjoyed our time here and learning about you, how you've grown your business, and your philosophy on teaching. So thank you so much. We really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out. Enjoyed it.
Of course.